Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of the Team Daddy Weekly Recap. I am your host, Shapiro the Hero, aka Daddy Dreidels. The Team Daddy playoffs are here and chaos has already taken hold. We've had upsets, high-scoring drama, and an unexpected boom from one of our eliminated teams. And on that note, the toilet bowl has also taken shape, and it may not be the teams you'd expect. I'll take you around the league for everything Week 15, plus a toilet bowl preview and a breakdown of who's left in the playoffs. It's all coming up right after this word from our sponsor. This week's sponsor is iRobot. Creators of the Roomba and a staple at many Brookstones, iRobot officially declared bankruptcy this week after over 20 years of tech innovations. The company has said this will not affect app functionality, which is good for current gadget holders, but if you're looking for a last-minute Christmas gift, you may want to look elsewhere. iRobot, so you can human. We'll kick off this week's recap with an absolute barn burner between Steve and Kyle. This may have been a 3-6 matchup, but you never would have known it with the way these two teams performed. But sadly, someone had to lose this one, and at the end of the day, it was Kyle emerging victorious, coming away with a 208.1 to 181.55 victory over Steve. Kyle was led by Trevor Lawrence with 64.6 points, as he earned $30 for having the week's highest scoring team and individual player. Kyle also got 33.9 points from Jamison Williams, and another 26.7 from Tyrone Tracy, as he advances to the semifinals. As for Steve, he was led by Bijan Robinson with 33.5 points, but suffers a cruel fate as he finished this week with the third highest scoring team in the league. Sadly, Steve is eliminated after a strong regular season and falls into the consolation bracket, while Kyle will await the winner of Zach vs. Armenti. That game between Zach and Armenti was also exciting, and it was also another upset, as 7th-seeded Armenti took down the 2nd-seed Zach 166.6 to 121.75. Amon-Ra St. Brown led the scoring here with 49.9 points, and Armenti also got 30.6 points from Matthew Stafford. It seems like there are 3 certainties in life: death, taxes, and Armenti making the semifinals, as he reaches the Final Four for the 3rd straight year. On the other sideline, Zach was led by Drake May with 22.05 points, but fizzles out in the quarterfinals after a tremendous regular season. Zach also falls into the consolation bracket where he will take on Steve, while Armenti will face Kyle in the semifinals. On the other side of the playoff bracket, we had the overall number 1 seed Big John taking on the number 8 seed Swans, who got into the playoffs on the last possible day. Despite it being such a wide gap in the seeding, this matchup was incredibly close, but ultimately went the way of Big John, as he advances with a 161.35 to 155.95 win over Swans. Puka Nacua led the scoring for Big John with 36.9 points, and Big John also got 25.2 points from Tony Pollard. The bigger news coming out of this matchup was the injury to Patrick Mahomes, though, as he tore his ACL and will miss the remainder of the season, meaning Big John will need to find a substitute quarterback for his semifinal matchup. As for Swans, he was led by Travion Henderson with 44.6 points, but the clock seems to have struck midnight on Swans' Cinderella run. He falls into the consolation bracket, while Big John advances to the Final Four to face the winner of the 4-5 matchup between myself and Jed. As for my matchup with Jed, I was looking for revenge after losing to Jed to close out the regular season, while Jed tried for his 3rd win in a row and 4th in the last 5 weeks. But when the clock showed zeros, I got my redemption in a big way as I took down Jed 173.55 to 96.8. Travis Etienne led the scoring for my team with 37 points, and I also got 35.15 points from Brock Purdy. In a week with no Drake London and possibly no Devon Achane, my team showed out when it mattered most as I advanced to the semifinals for the first time in 3 years. On the other sideline, Jed was led by Jackson Smith and Jigba with 24.8 points, but sadly watches his team lay an egg with the season on the line. In a season that offered Jed so much promise, he ends it with scoring the lowest points of the week to earn a spot in the consolation bracket against Swans. Meanwhile, I advance to the semifinals where I will face Big John. Turning now to the loser's side of the playoffs, we start with the 12th seed, our defending champion George, taking on Brett, the 9 seed who would be king in his own mind. But to Brett's credit, his team showed up this week, as Brett defeated George 180.1 to 115.25. Kyle Pitts led the scoring for Brett with 53.1 points, and for a while it looked like Brett was going to have the highest scoring player of the week with that one performance on Thursday night. Not to be outdone, Brett got 26.5 points from Dallas Goedert on Sunday to avoid punishment. As for George, he was led by Jamar Chase with 30.7 points, but could once again go from first to worst, as he not only finished last during the regular season, but will compete in the Toilet Bowl against the loser of PJ and Josh. Our final matchup of the week did feature Josh and PJ in our 10-11 matchup, and this one shocked a lot of people in a lot of ways. But at the end of the day, it was Josh who defeated PJ 200.4 to 143.6. James Cook led the way for Josh with 37.1 points, and Josh also got 35 points from CJ Stroud. 1 week after needing a win to make it into the playoffs, Josh finally got the team performance he was looking for, just a little too late. Josh escapes punishment this year by putting up the second highest point total this week. On the other sideline, the commish was led by Trey McBride with 45.4 points, but watches his team go down in flames, along with the Raiders. By the way, PJ, let us know if you've warmed up yet, because it looked pretty cold up there in Philly this weekend. With this loss, PJ moves into the toilet bowl showdown with George, where the loser will face punishment at next year's draft. Here's where things stand in the Team Daddy playoffs. Big John and I will square off in one semifinal, while Kyle Armenti will go head-to-head in the other. And as mentioned, it will be George and PJ playing for the title of Shit King. I do find it a little too coincidental that PJ suggested a light punishment for next year due to the lack of deadline deals, and now he's one loss away from facing that very punishment. Kinda sus, no? PJ, you're good. We'll let you slide. Anyway, even if your game doesn't mean anything this week, remember you can still win money for having the highest scoring team and player, so make sure to set the best lineup possible. And to all my Jewish friends watching this week's recap, Happy Hanukkah. Remember, they tried to kill us, we survived, now let's eat. Thank you as always for watching. This has been your Team Daddy Weekly Recap. I am your host, Shapiro the Hero, and I will see you next time. L'chaim, motherfuckers!